Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
What is up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast, episode number 53.
I knew that.
Did you get it this time?
I did.
I thought you said 52, but you said 53.
I said 53.
I hear you. Hot.
Hot. We've already been outside this morning and did our feeding, and we decided we had some questions we needed to answer, and came on in and
It's been rough.
got us a drink of water and sat down at the desk and still sweaty. And
I know it. I thought about changing my shirt and probably
well, I
should
thought
have.
about it too, but I don't think anybody can see how sweaty I actually am in this dark colored Peaches shirt. Looks like Peaches is wearing a necklace today.
Oh, Peaches is wearing a
Isn't she
necklace.
pretty?
She is pretty. Yeah, it's been rough. Yesterday was like one of the hottest days, 108 here, and you bush hogged in it. And
I did. I didn't start till about 3 o'clock, and I thought I was going to miss the bulk of the heat, but I was wrong.
It's been
It was hot. It was hot.
It is hot.
It wasn't, to me, it wasn't as hot as it was the last time I bush hogged, and I think it was because I missed that lunchtime hour where the sun was directly on top of me.
Yes.
Yesterday when I bush hogged, it was hot temperature-wise, but the sun was a little bit further over, so it wasn't, beaming straight down on me.
Right. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, I was too. Don't adjust anything. Everything's fine.
My volume didn't look right.
No, it's good.
Okay.
Everything's good.
Just a little tweak.
There are no problems, except for there's this problem. Okay, so last night I told you to leave the computer up.
You just said get the questions up.
I said leave the computer opened up on the pull the questions up because I didn't know how to sort through the questions. So I was going to look at questions and print them out. Lo and behold, he stayed at the computer too long, and
I did it.
He did it, and so I was going to do it this morning. He said, "Oh, I did it last night." And I said, "Okay, where are they?" And he said, "They're on the printer." And so he hands it to me, and this is the size they are. All right, so I'm in my middle 40s, and when I hit the age of 40, it seemed like my vision went.
Yeah.
So I have my handy-dandy readers so that I can actually see what questions he printed out. Otherwise, I'd just have to let you read them all.
I will. I told you I'd reprint it for you.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I told you it was okay. I haven't had to put my glasses on since we homeschooled last.
Oh, okay.
And so I was able to put my hands on them. However, it looks like a bird has chewed the corner a little bit.
I wonder who did that.
I don't know, but they were in my little package where I keep them stored. And obviously, one of Marycarl's birds has had their mouth on it.
If I had to guess, it would be Zerk.
But they're readers, so I'll just wear them when we answer questions.
That'll work. Well, you look cute in glasses.
Well, my vision doesn't appear too lovely when I'm not reading.
Yeah.
So I need them when I read.
See, mine's just the opposite. I have far off. So does that mean I'm far-sighted or nearsighted?
I don't know.
I get them confused. But
I
anyways.
I know I'm going to need this pen so I can mark off where.
Well, yeah,
questions
that's
we've
true.
answered.
And a lot of times I have to take my glasses off to read.
See. Yep, that's right. And I have to, if it's something that I have to read that's, in any shape, form, or fashion, small, I can forget it. Marycarl's like, "Mama, I'll read it," and she takes over for me. But my vision's pitiful when it comes to reading.
Mine went before yours.
Well,
my vision.
Your
I had
long distance.
Yeah, my vision I was 2010, which is even better than 2020 forever. And one day I noticed the street signs. That's my first thing. But I won't ever forget when I realized that I needed glasses. Was that I got invited to go to the Wild Turkey Federation. I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And which is this big meeting for these, turkey conservationists and turkey hunters. And I'm just not a hunter. But I was invited to go, so I went, and they had this auction, and I'm standing in the back, and I realized I cannot see anything.
Was I with you?
No, I wasn't. It was a company thing, so
I don't remember it.
It was.
Marycarl and I went to one.
As a matter
that.
of fact, I won a gun.
Jeez. What kind of gun was it?
It was I think it was a rifle, and we sold it back to the gun place. Yep, the co-op that
Okay.
gave away. Yep.
Oh, gosh.
I didn't need it.
Well, see, his eyes went first, but my mind went first because I do not remember that at all.
That was a long time ago.
Well, Marycarl has been to one of them. Do you remember that?
Yes.
She went to one of the Turkey Federation events. I'd say she was probably about in the first grade, maybe kindergarten.
Maybe so. The dealership I worked at would sponsor them, and so
I would have a table.
We would have a table, and I'd get a ticket, and I mean, it's really pricey, in my opinion. I mean,
but
especially if you're not a turkey enthusiast or
it was good food.
It was really good food.
That's what I went for. I went for the food.
I mean, have an auction, and it's entertaining, and I don't know, it was just fun.
Yeah, it was always a fun event, but and you don't necessarily have to be a hunter to go. I mean,
no, but I mean the
venue's set up for hunting.
It's the venues are set for hunting. They got all these calls,
and they also have a duck one.
They do have a Ducks Unlimited,
and what else? They don't have a deer one.
Wow, they got the wild
game?
That's a cook-off though.
Oh, well,
I don't know. We're not. I'm not a hunter, so I mean, I don't.
You don't have to be a hunter. Just go for the food.
No, but it's kind of pricey, though.
Yeah, but that food was good. I remember it was like
good.
a buffet, and it was seafood.
It was a
Do you remember
seafood
that?
buffet that somebody catered. It was good, though.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So,
but that's when I realized my vision was gone, was in this Turkey Federation thing.
Well, I realized it when I started trying to read labels on things, and I couldn't see it anymore. And then a lot of times I would have to take a picture of something and then enlarge it if I didn't have my readers with me, because you could,
if it's really small, I can't read it. My eyesight's not what it was either on the close-up stuff. But I usually have to take my glasses off, and I asked the eye doctor, because that's something that's just recently happened. Used to I could just wear my glasses and I could see, but over the last year or so, I've had to take my glasses off. And she said that
my daddy would do that.
Yeah, she said bifocals are going to be next. She said you're going to get where when you take them off, you're not going to be able to see it either. She said you're in your middle 40s. That's what happens.
Well, Jason will make a comment to me from time to time that, I'll say, "What is that up there, Brooke? You need glasses."
I do.
Well, it's not that I'm denying that my vision's not perfect. It's not that. It's just that I am not comfortable wearing glasses unless I have to. So I wear my sunglasses, but I'm not unless I have to have them, I'm not gonna wear them every day. I just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm sweating all the time, and
they do. I mean, I'm going to have to buy another. This one's not going to work. This cloth one's not going to work. I like them. They're comfortable, but I mean, we're washing them every other day. It's just not going to work. I'm going to have to. I almost bought one when we were at the beach. I thought about looking for one that wasn't cloth, but I said, nah, I'll find one online.
That leads us to a question that I actually can see where it is. I don't know how, but that was if you want to go ahead and answer that one.
Where did I find my glasses? And I think we may have mentioned this before, but I saw this come up a bunch. I haven't found my glasses. These are I found my old glasses, but my new glasses are gone. I'm going to have to get some more.
I don't know where they are. Gone. I told y'all in a podcast that I called the rental truck place again, and the gentleman said he would check and he would call me back. Well,
he never called back.
He never called back, and that, I mean, I don't know if I should just speculate, but it kind of led me to believe he didn't find them.
He didn't find, but that's where I think they are, but
I don't know.
I don't know
either.
But I think I'm just going to get another pair.
I thought that the rates for the rental truck were very reasonable when we rented the truck and we went and got the camper.
Yeah.
However, when you add in a pair of lost glasses, it makes that rental fee go up a good bit.
But luckily, it could have been worse.
How?
Well, this is how I buy glasses. I find a pair of frames I like.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
I picked the frames out.
And then I find them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I find a pair of frames I like at one of these glass stores.
Oh, yeah, we went together.
And they're like $200-$300 for a frame.
All right. And we take a picture of the model.
Model number, and then you can go on eBay and you can find these people that buy, I don't know how they get them. They have old display glasses. So the lenses are just clear. And you can get, what was it, $75 for that pair of glasses?
Yeah, it was like $300 at the store.
Yeah,
so,
but we paid like $70 for the exact same pair of glasses.
It was, I shopped around until I found the best possible bargain on the frames. Of course, some of them, the lenses are missing. Some of them, the lenses are just clear.
Right.
Some of them have had a prescription in them even.
Right.
And all they're going to do is just change those lenses out. So then we take the prescription to an optometrist and have the lens put in it.
Yep.
And we did that, but that sure made that rental truck.
I know. And we ended up being about $150 when you count the lenses and the frames, which is a lot of money. But it could have been a lot worse. $450.
It could have been. And then I'd really be knocking you in the head.
Be. And I keep thinking, maybe one day they're just going to pop up. And I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
your prescription's going to have changed by then.
There's my glasses. I'll be in my bifocals.
Yep, you'll be in your bifocals. You'll be trying to get me to put some reader lens in yours.
I keep hoping that they're either at that rental place or they're somewhere on the 40 where, we got the camper hooked up.
If they're on the 40, I've squashed them. I've run over them, and I've squashed them.
Speaking of the 40, we've had numerous people ask a couple. Well, number one, we've had a ton of new viewers come in here lately.
Yes.
And so a lot of people are wanting to know, why do we even want to leave where we are now to go to the new farm? Because this place is so beautiful, and
it's taken us 17 years to build what we have here.
Correct.
So why would you want to leave it?
We want more room for several reasons. Number one is we want our goats to have a bigger area.
Right.
We want a breeding area for goats, which we don't have.
We love goats, in case y'all didn't know that. Goats are wonderful creatures.
They really are. They're so gentle. They're docile.
They make you
laugh.
laugh.
They're affectionate. They're funny. They are great animals. And we also want to build a goat barn, and we want to be able to milk our goats. That's one. So the animals are number one reason. We want to give Nugget more room.
Right.
And then Marycarl, Marycarl loves hatching stuff. And one day we'll have 10 silkies, and in 6 months from now we have 100 silkies. And so we want to give her more area too.
That's right. We kind of had to say, stop it.
Yeah, we do. We have to restrict her. We have to tell her we can't incubate no more. We got to cut the incubators off. We just don't have any more room because things are going to get sick. And because when you get overpopulated,
too tight, when you get
happen.
Too many things in too small of a space, that's just what happens. And she knows that.
Correct.
But sometimes her heart outweighs her mind.
Yeah, she gets excited. Well, she gets antsy, and she's thinking, if I can crossbreed this silky with this silky, I can get this other color.
And I feel so bad when we tell her, you just don't have anywhere else to put anything. And I heard y'all talking the other day, and y'all were talking about all the things that we'll be able to do at the new farm that we can't do here.
Right.
One of them that I overheard you talking about was...
It was a good idea, wasn't it?
It was a good idea. And I the whole time I was on the bush hog yesterday, I was thinking, I was visualizing what you had talked about.
Yeah.
And that was building a chicken city.
Building a chicken city with like a town hall, houses, maybe a school.
Maybe a restaurant.
And it would be themed like that. And each one of these buildings would be a coop or we call them nurseries or brooders.
Or trailers. Right now we're working with trailers. They were equipment trailers that your dad used.
Right.
And we plan to take those off the axles, and we can make them cute little schoolhouses.
So that was our conversation. And
y'all have seen our barn. We have signs galore.
Yes.
And so Jason told me, Carl, he said, we got that school crossing sign down there. We could put it on a pole instead of hanging it up, and that could be the school. And I was just kind of grinning to myself, hearing their conversation about how they're going to build the chicken city.
So, that made her excited.
Well, you're going to have duck city, chicken city, turkey city, peacock city, emu city.
Oh, gosh. Nugget's going to be the sheriff of the city.
Maybe it just needs to be all of those combined into one city.
Maybe so. Maybe have Nugget and I always think of Nugget and the sheriff. Like Smokey and the Bandit, how they would set up their police car behind a sign. And the signs are not that short anymore; they're way up in the air. But I can see Nugget parked behind there.
Oh yeah.
And then when somebody speeds by, he cuts his light on it, pulls them over.
He wouldn't have to run too fast.
No.
A couple of strides and he'd be there.
Oh my gracious!
So the chicken city kind of made me smile.
Yeah.
Just thinking of ways that we can grow and do things differently than we have it here.
Right, because we're limited. We got pretty much, we got around 7.5 acres here, okay? But like 2.5 of it is part of a community that's restricted.
Yeah, so we can't build anything on that side.
Then another acre, or I don't know exactly how big the cemetery is, but there's another acre and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah, but besides that, it goes up a hill behind our house.
Right.
And so, we don't have water up there.
No.
And, that would be a big ordeal for us to run water up there. And power.
Because it's solid woods.
Yep.
It's a forest, and you got the cemetery. So it's not like you can just dig.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're limited. Basically, the only place we got is in the front of our property, which is probably about 2 acres.
Yeah, it's probably about... And I would say 2 acres would be pushing it. Where everything is probably an acre, less than an acre.
So we say we're going from 7 to 40, but we're really going like 2 to 40.
Yeah, and we do realize that the whole 40 won't be used.
No, that's true too. So we can even say 2 to 20.
Yeah.
Because 20 acres is woods.
Yeah.
20 acres is pasture.
That's
pretty
right.
much.
But regardless, the area that we have to work with, if we just kept everything that's what we have now on one side, we would be going to 10 times the area.
Correct.
So as I'm riding, bush hogging, I'm just grinning to myself, thinking about the chicken city, and then I put a frown on my face because I really don't know where everything's going to go. And
I'll figure that out.
Well,
don't worry about that.
I'm glad you will.
I'll figure all that. Don't worry about that.
I'm not good when it comes to trying to visualize where things should go. I do think that we should kind of keep everything on one side as far as our pets.
Yeah, I agree.
And then maybe use the other side for maybe pasture pigs for meat for us, or pastured cows. And then everything could be on our side that's for pets. I don't know. That's just what I was thinking. It would make it easier.
That's what we're kind of thinking, and it will make things easier, and it'll get done. It's just going to take some time. The reason why we want to move was, for the animals, more space for our animals.
Right.
More space for gardening.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Now I do plan. I've realized, and I've told you this, that I do plan doing a kitchen garden.
Right.
And that's going to be my main garden.
Yes.
And it's going to be. I'm not going to grow 3 rows of tomatoes.
Right.
I'm going to grow just enough for us to eat.
Right.
But I do have an issue like Marycarl does with hatching. I have an issue with growing stuff. So, I'll come, I got so many seeds. And,
but that's not like it's a mouth you have to feed.
No,
we can give those things away to people.
That's true, but I do go overboard with it.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll let you slide on that one.
I'm going to do it where I want to be more efficient with it and be just focused on. So I want to grow
soil. Focus on your soil.
Yes, and grow a lot of our own food.
Yes.
So, you think, well, if you grow more, but what you end up doing is that's a lot more you got to spray. It's a lot more you got to tend to, blah, 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 blah. So you're thinking, well, why do you want a bigger garden? Well, there's certain things that I can't grow. I can't grow corn every year because if I do, then it's going to take away from me growing something else. Like this year, we didn't grow any winter squash, no room, because winter squash takes up a lot of space.
Right.
It's not that I'm going to grow, 50 rows of winter squash. One row of winter squash will take up half my garden.
Yeah, it spreads, and those, it just goes from here to here.
Right.
And you got to have ample space, or else you're not going to be able to plant anything else.
That's right. And the same with watermelons. Marycarl loves watermelons. I can't grow watermelons because a couple of watermelon plants will take up half or more than half my garden.
And that's not to say that our garden hasn't been sufficient for us up until this point.
Right.
It would be sufficient for most anybody.
Correct.
Until you decide that you want to live off the land and you want to provide for your family without possibly going to the grocery store quite so often. And that's what we want to kind of lean towards. Is
kind of what we want to lean towards. I can do a lot better crop rotation here. I do crop rotate, but I have to do it in small segments. And I tell you, I'm holding my excitement in and my antsiness in so bad because I want this flower farm to work, and I really want to do it really, really bad. And I can't do that here.
No.
But I can do it there.
Right.
And I really want to be successful and make that a profitable thing for us. And I want to do it bad. That flower farm, I really want to do it.
And another thing, as I was going to say while we were on the, subject of growing our own food, one thing that I love is fresh peas.
Yes, that was the other thing.
And there was one time that we planted peas across in the residential neighborhood area.
Yep.
We tilled it up, and we said, we just didn't have anywhere else to plant them.
Right.
And we planted peas, and we enjoyed those peas so much.
We did. I think we got about a bushel.
Which doesn't sound like much, but it was plenty for us at the time to realize that we could do it and that we enjoyed the bountiful crop that we got from it.
And if you don't know about peas, you do have to plant a lot of them. Because if you plant one row of peas, you're not going to get that many.
You're not even going to get enough for a helping.
Yeah, you're just not. To me, there's several things like that this year I didn't grow okra because if you don't plant enough okra, you'll go out there, and if you got 10 plants, you'll get 10 pods. And what are you going to do with 10 pods of okra?
Add it to a pot of peas. But we didn't have the peas.
Right.
So.
And I didn't grow any snap beans this year, and we usually enjoy the snap beans. Marycarl usually likes the snap beans. I didn't grow any of those. So, it was some stuff I just didn't grow this year, and that was why.
So that's a second reason that we want to move from our beautiful location to a new location.
Yes. The animals more room, the farm more room, and the ability to grow more of our own food.
Yes.
Fruit trees, we're maxed out what kind of fruit trees we can plant here.
That's right. We have, figs. We have had a pear tree. We've had an apple tree. But we would like a fruit orchard here. I mean, at the new farm.
Right.
Rather than having just a fig tree here and a fig tree there. Yeah. We would like a whole area. And we realize that's not going to happen immediately.
Correct.
But I would describe us as dreamers.
We are dreamers.
We kind of are at the end of our dream here.
Yeah, we're maxed out dreaming here. Me and Marycarl both love blackberries. And so, we want a big blackberry bed. We would like to grow because there's kiwis we can grow here. We could grow on kiwis. We can grow on grapes, which are, musky dimes or a native grape to the southeast that me and Marycarl love to eat.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff we can do. And then we have a
freeze dryer that we could freeze dry it in and make it last for a long time.
Also, our soil is very acidic.
Yeah.
Which is ideal for peaches and blueberries.
Not to say that we're not going to try to change
No, we are
going
to change it, but we're going to have some areas that's going to be strictly for blueberries because, again, we love blueberries.
Yeah. Marycarl will eat a fresh blueberry, but she doesn't necessarily like them after they've been frozen or bought in the grocery store. But most things kind of keep keep that flavor, but she doesn't want them if they're frozen.
Right. So. And she'll eat her weight in blackberries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I was just talking about outliving our dream here.
Right.
When you bought your first house in, oh my goodness, 1999, we were not married yet.
Right.
And so we were just automatically, our two personalities just want to make things better.
Right.
And we're not satisfied with the way anything is, from the store. It's got to be altered a little bit.
Right.
For lack of other way to describe it. So we took that house and we immediately started transforming it to our liking.
Correct.
Well, some people would just buy a house and be satisfied with, the wallpaper that's on the inside. Not us. We pulled all the wallpaper off. We didn't know what we were doing.
No, we had no clue.
We didn't know what we were doing. And we didn't have a YouTube channel to watch then to show us how to do things.
There the internet had just, in 99, the internet was, there was nothing. A matter of fact, I had, like I said, your dad had bought me a Reader's Digest DIY book that I used.
Yeah, and there were multiple things that needed to be done to that house. Stripping wallpaper being the first thing that we did.
Yep.
We didn't know how to strip wallpaper, but we scraped and scrambled with a spatula until we figured out our best way to get it off. We painted, which neither one of us had ever painted anything in our life.
Nope.
We pulled up the kitchen floor and tiled the kitchen floor.
Yes.
We liked the idea of the black and white checkerboard, and
Right.
I remember we bought black and white tile, and we taught ourselves how to tile that kitchen floor.
We did. We redid the hardwood floors in there. We sanded them down
we rented
ourselves.
a sander from a local rental store and sanded the hardwood floors, which were pine, and you clear coated them.
I did.
And not to say it was a professional job, because it took off a little bit more than it should have. I remember that part. But hey, we did it.
We did it. The biggest one I remember was the front door.
Oh, the back door too. Remember that?
The back door, but the front door was the worst.
Oh, yeah.
Because it had an old 60s front door on it.
It was like hollow almost, wasn't
It
it?
had like the louvers.
Yeah.
And it was painted, it's supposed to have been maroon, but it had faded to pink.
No, that was like the screen door that was on the outside.
Yeah, but it was all,
yeah.
all looked like 1960.
It needed to be replaced.
So we went and bought a door, and it was just a general 6-panel door. But it was, it looked like a up-to-date door.
It was
back
in
then.
a frame. It was a framed
Right,
in.
all framed and everything, fiberglass or steel door, how they come. And so I knocked that original door out.
Yep, we sure did. We took the original door out, and we couldn't get the
I
new
couldn't
one
get
back
it back in. Could not get. So that night I put plastic over it and duct taped it. So that night, I didn't have a front door, and then the next day I finally got it to go. But yeah, I remember that. It was that was one of the scariest moments.
I remember
Sink
Jason,
or swim.
Jason was so worried that he wasn't going to be able to. What if I can't get the door back in?
Right.
And that's what made things click back then, was the what ifs.
Yeah.
We were always up for that what if.
Right.
And so after we changed out all the doors, we did all the painting. We even hung sheetrock in the laundry room.
And it was an awful job, but I did do it.
It was the little laundry room was detached from the house.
Yeah.
And it was just framed on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we were about to get married, and we wanted a laundry room to look nice.
Yes.
And so we went and bought some sheetrock, and we hung it ourselves and finished it.
We did.
I wish I
hang
had
it
a
and finish
picture of it.
It wasn't pretty.
It was the most hideous looking job. Oh, another thing we did was there was a cast iron bathtub
Oh, yeah.
in the bathroom. It was
That's
a
right.
one bathroom house,
Yeah.
2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom house. And the bathtub was green.
It was that, it wasn't lime. It was kind of,
It was like that 60s looking green.
it was like that army lime green look. And then the tile was the exact same way.
And not only that, the tile on the wall went
Yes.
up halfway.
And it was the same color.
And it was green.
Yeah.
And we didn't like that. We wanted it to be more modern looking. And so we bought a bathtub glazing kit
And tile paint.
and tile paint. And we redid the tile and
Yep.
the tub
And white.
in that bathroom.
And it looked good.
And I bet it still looks good.
It looked really, really good.
The only thing we did that we weren't completely pleased with was hanging and finishing the sheetrock.
Yeah, that was the only thing. It didn't look good.
And I do remember still being able to see a hint of green behind that tile once we painted it and redid it. But I don't know if it was my eyes just knowing that it was green behind
Right.
there, or if it was actually a little green coming through. Regardless, we made it work.
We made it work. It looked good.
But my point about that is we did all of this stuff to this house, and then we started on the backyard. And we did all this stuff to the backyard
You're
and the
right.
front yard. And we redid everything from laying sod to putting rocks in the driveway to make a second parking spot.
Right.
And then we ran out of things to do.
We did.
And do you know what happened next?
We sold it.
We sold it. And that's where I feel like we are right now with this
Yeah.
place. I feel like we have done absolutely everything that we can possibly do
Right.
to better it for what we like. And now we're selling it.
Yeah.
On to a new dream.
On to a new dream and bigger one.
Bigger one. And I think that it's going to take some time, but I think y'all will enjoy following us and seeing I mean, I just wish I could have documented what we did back then.
Oh gosh, I did too.
Because, thinking back on it, people our age didn't do things like that.
No, not then.
You think our friends, Kelly and Chris, that were newlyweds
Right.
at the time as well, that bought a house down the street from
Right.
us, they hired somebody to lay their tile. They
did.
hired somebody to do everything that needed. Not
Right.
us. We took the cabinets off the kitchen.
We
We
did.
repainted the cabinets
Yep.
in the kitchen. We didn't know what we were doing.
Nope.
We primed them. We sanded them. We refinished them.
We did a lot.
But here were our friends paying people, and we didn't have the financial means, nor did we want to be burdened with the financial burden of having to pay back,
Right.
getting somebody to do that. And I think that's what leads us to where we are today.
I do.
If you
I agree.
don't try something, people are too quick to throw in the towel and say, I can't do that.
You can do it.
You can do it if you want to do it.
Right.
If you don't want to do it, then no, you can't do
You're
it.
probably going to
But-
struggle, but you can do it.
Yeah, but I feel like Kelly and Chris, they didn't want to do it.
Right.
And therefore they paid somebody, and that's where they ended up. Now theirs looked better than ours, but that didn't mean anything to us.
That's right.
We saved those
Oh,
thousands of dollars.
That's true. That's funny though. It didn't look good.
It did look good. I remember seeing
did.
They used big tiles in their
They
kitchen
did, and it
floor.
was diagonal.
It was diagonal, and here ours was
The
black
little-
and white squares all lined up perfectly. We didn't stagger our
Right.
pattern or anything. I remember seeing it. This looks really good.
Yeah.
Mine does too, though.
That's right. Speaking of fruit trees, I've had a lot of people want to know what kind of figs we're growing here because they're as big as our fist.
Yeah.
Those are black missions.
Yep. A black mission fig.
black mission
which
fig.
I'd never heard of
I've
in
heard of
this area.
Yeah, not in this area, but I've heard of black mission figs.
Your most common is your brown turkey.
In this area, brown turkey and celeste are your two most common here because those are basically cannon figs. I may butcher this, but I think there's 3 variety of figs, and that is your sugar figs.
Is that what a black mission is?
No,
A sugar fig?
I don't think a black mission is a sugar fig.
What is it? What is its variety?
It's not real sweet, so I
No,
think it's
but-
on the fruity side.
So it's mainly made to eat fresh off the tree.
Main to eat.
Okay.
Now you have
They're huge.
the
I know
honey
that.
fig. It tastes got a hint of honey, and then you got your fruity figs. Now, the green esha that's not ready yet, which is the green fig tree. That's
They're
loaded.
green when they're ready.
They're green when they're ready, but they're
you
like a
can
light
tell
green.
they've never produced until now because I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've produced so little, but those are that's my fig we got here. That one's super delicious.
Oh, really? So it's
Yes.
going to taste
It
better
is
than
gonna
the black
taste better
mission?
than the black mission. To me, yep. It's
Well, there in my neighborhood that I grew up in, the people across the street had one, and it was called a lemon fig, and it's literally yellow,
and the inside's yellow.
inside yellow, and it's a late fig. It's
Yeah.
probably ready about right now.
Maybe the green esha's late, but the inside of it is like a strawberry.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Huh. Well,
And
the
it's
black
super
mission's
good.
beautiful.
Black mission is beautiful.
It's a rosy red on the
It is.
inside, and it's black on the outside.
It is.
And they are literally about, I don't know
They're
if y'all can see
huge.
that. They're about that big around.
They are huge, and there's hundreds of variety of figs.
You know, I just
you
never
could
knew-
get lost.
I never knew
get
there
down
were
it-
so many varieties.
Yeah, you go down that rabbit hole, and you won't come back for days.
Well, if you visit Petals from the Past, you'll find out a lot of varieties that you did not know existed,
Yeah.
and that pertains to all fruits.
There's a lot of good hybrids now that the LSUs. They've come out with the LSU purple, the LSU gold. Those figs are amazing,
and then there's one
they're
called the
super
Texas.
hardy. Yes, there is one of those. We got one of those actually, and it's a variety of a brown turkey.
Oh, is it?
I think
Okay.
it's just an updated version of the brown, and I think the LSU purple may be an updated version of the brown mission. They just tweak it.
Black Mission, you
Black
mean?
Mission. Sorry. Yeah, they just tweak them and make them more insect resistant, and just that's what they do.
Well,
they breed them.
When we lived in town when I was growing up, we had some fig trees in the backyard, and they didn't get a lot of sun.
Sun is
Therefore,
key.
They didn't produce very much.
Right.
But I do remember when they did produce, we would have birds galore.
Birds love
and
them.
we don't have that problem
Knock
here.
on wood, we do not. I don't know if it's because of the chickens or what it is. Now, the birds will get a few, but not that
Hey,
many.
look, I remember, like you could hear the birds in the trees. It
Yeah.
was that many birds.
Right. I've never had a bird issue, period, in my garden or anything.
What did you tell me to pick up the pie pans for?
For the fig tree.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
you were
I was
thinking
preparing that the birds were going to get them because
we
mom and
never even
dad
used them.
live right down the road. They got a brown turkey fig,
And the birds get 'em.
eat almost all of them.
It's got to have something to do with our poultry.
I think it
got
may
to.
have.
Maybe.
It may be a different story when you get out to the 40 now.
I don't know.
We don't
We'll
know
find
what's
out.
going to happen there.
So I need to start investing in some pie
Right.
pans.
Yeah, probably so.
Or cook more pies, maybe.
Yeah, that too.
All right. So that was a question that we had. That kind of leads us to the next one, I guess, what we've been doing with our figs.
Yeah.
And that is freeze dry.
We have been freeze drying the figs and eating them. We've probably ate 3 bags already.
We probably have.
I think we got 2 bags left. Yeah, we've been freeze drying the stew out of figs.
Well, first, when the Jason's dad called me and he said, our figs are about ready if you want to get them and make some preserves. Well, we had so much going on at the time. Jason was sick.
Yeah.
He couldn't help, make the preserves, which not that it requires 2 people. It's just it would have been more helpful if we could have both done it together. And so when he called me, I thought, I'll freeze dry them. I'm going to try to freeze dry them. Well, we didn't ever get over to pick his, but ours started getting ready.
They did.
And the first day when you picked them, you were not well, but you were well enough to pick a basket of figs. It was just a basket. And I thought, I wonder if that's going to be enough to freeze dry. And so Marycarl, you went to bed as soon as you got in. Marycarl washed them and cut them up and put them on the freeze drying trays. And I helped her, get them in and we got it cut on. And it filled up 4 trays, that basket did. And that was a lot of fruit.
It was
that would
a
have
lot
been
of fruit.
Potentially wasted.
Right.
Had I, there was nothing else I could have done with them but made preserves. And I didn't have time at the
Right.
At the
Plus,
and-
I had packed all the preserve stuff up. I had
Yeah, you
packed the
packed
kitchen
it all
up.
up.
Yeah.
I looked for something yesterday and I couldn't find it.
I done packed it up.
So that leads us to the question: is if I put that whole basket in that freeze dryer
Yep.
and it made a whole Ziploc bag, how big is our freeze
Ours
dryer?
is a 4-tray freeze dryer, which is the medium.
The medium. So we have the medium freeze dryer,
We have
and
the
it's
medium
perfect
freeze
for
dryer.
our family. Not to say it would be for yours because there's only 3 of us here.
Right.
You might want to check it out and weigh your options there, but that's what we have, and it works for us.
Yep, it's the 4-tray. I don't know if they do small, medium. I don't know how they. I can't remember
4-tray.
exactly. But ours is the 4-tray one.
And what we have 4 extra trays.
Yes.
And that being said, when we were planning to freeze dry those figs, we thought, well, what if we have more than will fit in there at one batch? And I said, well, we can cut them up and put them in the freezer because if you pre-freeze something,
Yes.
then it takes less time in the freeze dryer.
Right.
You just select pre-frozen instead of fresh.
Yeah.
And it that process is, I don't know if it's cut in half or what, but it's slowed down tremendously.
Yeah.
So if we had had more than would have fit in the freeze dryer at one time, having those extra trays on hand is helpful.
Right.
Because you can pre-freeze it, and then when that batch comes out, you stick your ones that are frozen in there, and voila, you got a second batch already ready.
And we'll do a whole lot more with the freeze dryer once we get out to the 40.
Yes, because it's going to be in my pantry. That's the plan, so it'll be easily accessed. It won't
Right.
be in the middle of our den anymore.
Right. And we won't be all this going on. Once we get settled in out there, there'll be a ton of videos with the freeze dryer.
But I will tell you, the freeze dryer is a lifesaver because literally 5 minutes, and that's all it took for
Yep.
us to feel like we went from wasting something to preserving something.
Right.
And who knows, we may end up making preserves with these figs if they last that long.
That's when a light bulb went off with me. Is like, look, if
we don't have time to preserve them now,
Right
but
now.
we will later.
but we could freeze dry them, and when we do have time, we could.
Reconstitute
That's
them.
it, because you got to put
bring
them in
back
water
to
anyways.
life.
Yeah. So
Bring them back to life and boil them down
Yep.
and make preserves out
Yep.
of them. So that may be something that we can do in the future. However, it won't be anything immediate.
right.
I'm getting to the point where I can't see.
Go ahead. Are we worried that some of our birds will try to go back home after we move? Yes. The only ones we're really worried about are the peacocks. And we got them a fully enclosed pen. We haven't put it together yet, but we
came
do
in
have one.
3 boxes.
Yeah, it's
and
big. It's like,
I have a feeling it's going to be a doozy to put together.
yeah, it's going to take probably half a day. It's like 26 foot by.
It's big.
It's big.
It's big. It's plenty big. We went with the biggest thing we could find.
Right.
And we want them to be comfortable for the amount of time that they have to be enclosed. And I have a feeling our child will find something to fit in it once they're done with it.
That's right.
So we'll leave them locked up for, I don't know, just probably a few months until we feel like that they are adjusted and know where their home is. So that way, when we do let them out, they won't come back to this farm.
Right.
They won't even attempt it. They'll know where their home is, and that'll, be their new stomping ground.
Yeah. But that's our plan that's really the only ones that I worry about. Somebody said something about the Muscovies, but I don't think the Muscovies are going to fly off either.
No, I don't think so
Yeah.
either. They're so food oriented birds that if you feed them, they're just like, hey, this is where I'm supposed to live.
Muscovies love to eat.
They do.
I told y'all today that they by far eat more than anything on the farm, and that's including nugget and the geese. I mean, they gorge.
They do. And I think that if we put their feeder down when we let them out, then they're going to say, hey, this is where they want me to live. And I
agree.
think that's what will happen.
I agree.
But we won't let anybody that we have any questions about fly away. We're going to have everything prepared. And that's sometimes why I can't rest well at night as I worry about the what ifs and, do we have an enclosure for everybody? Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
we're going to
much.
have everything prepared.
Yeah, everybody's going to have their own enclosure, so we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
You are so reassuring to me.
Yeah, I am. And question about the enclosures. Somebody asked, will heavy downpours not scare the chickens and goats and Nugget and Peaches because of the metal enclosures? Everything's metal here now. Our house has got a metal roof. Peaches lives on the carport with a metal roof. The goats' houses are metal roof.
Right.
The chicken coop's metal roof.
Yeah,
So
it won't be a lot
it doesn't bother them. Or
Yeah.
they're used to it. It won't be no issue there. And speaking of those, I told you in the middle of the day, because there were some
was just
concerns
thinking about
the metal is going to
on the porta huts.
is hold heat in, on the porta huts. And that I actually went in the middle of the day and went inside one of them, and it was 20 degrees cooler than it was outside.
Huh.
I mean, I'm probably going to take me a thermometer so I know exact, but
Yeah.
it was not. And our plan is to take that back wall. The back wall detaches.
Yeah.
It comes on and off.
So we might put it on in
the
winter
wintertime.
months.
Yeah.
And,
Take it off in the summers.
however, we have such mild winters that we may can even toss it. We may not even
please put
ever
it up
need
some.
it. But
You may be right, but it is not as hot as you think by all means.
and who knows, that back being on it may keep it shaded to where it stays cooler.
That's true.
If
That's
you
true.
open it up on both sides, you're going to get more sunlight
Yeah.
going in. So that's just something
We'll experiment with for sure. Where do we plan on storing all of our boxes and stuff?
Interesting.
We're packing. We are packing. The boxes are
everywhere.
5 foot high on the side of us over here. You can't see it in the camera. It's just something we've tossed around.
I have called all kind of various.
Storage places.
Well, not necessarily storage places.
Well,
I started out with shipping containers.
Well, that was a shipping. I want to say this about these storage places. It never dawned. We've never stored anything in them. You see these things popping up like Dollar Generals around here, and now I know why.
They're packed.
They're full. I knew it
because
storage places on every corner around here. And we called. It never dawned on me that it would be hard to get a storage place.
Well, I knew
They're
it would.
Full.
I knew it was going to be hard, so I started pricing shipping containers because
Right.
Piper's family recently moved.
Yes.
And they had to store their stuff in climate control because that's all they could find.
Right.
And climate control is a little bit more expensive. So they were limited as to what they could find. And this was a brand new opened climate control facility, and they found one unit. So I called about the shipping containers. We would have to buy the shipping container
And then have it delivered.
Have it delivered, and we don't know where we would want to put it because obviously it's going to have to be there. I can't necessarily move it around. And then, we're not going to need storage forever.
Right.
Our storage will be temporary. As soon as our house is built, we're going to move the stuff back out. So I really didn't want to make that big of an investment.
Because they were not cheap.
They were not cheap.
Yeah.
And it sit there. Well, people are thinking, why couldn't you turn that into a chicken coop or whatever? Well, I don't need a $5,000 chicken coop.
Right.
And to cut windows and stuff out of something that costs that much, to me, is just throwing money out the window.
Yeah.
So my second option was one of those pod things.
Yes.
Well, they're kind of costly too,
They're
but
expensive
you
too.
can do them by the month.
So we may go that route.
We may go that route because they'll bring it to your current residence, you load it up, and then they come and pick the thing back up and take it to your new residence. I know it's a fee every time you move it. But
right.
still, you're just paying monthly fee. You're paying rental.
And there were several options there too. You can leave it there at your place.
Yeah.
While you're build, or they'll take it off and go take it to their storage facility and then bring it back.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that option. The ideal situation would be that the house gets put in the dry before we move, and then we can put all the stuff in the house. That's the ideal situation, but we don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Well, I think that it will happen. I do think that it will happen. We are about 4 weeks. Well, no. 3 weeks from the architect. So I'm thinking it's going to be kind of bam, bam. The house gets in the dry. I don't want to rush out and buy anything pertaining to storing boxes if we don't have to.
I agree.
Or do I want to get something here that I have to rent when I've got a roof over my head to keep it in right now?
Right.
So boxes, we can move those at any time. We have several options, and our first priority is to get our house in the dry and hopefully put it in there.
That's what we're hoping. If we can get it in the dry.
It won't be the house part. It'll be the garage part that we'll store it in.
Yeah. If we can get it in the dry and weatherproof and all that, that will be the ideal situation. And that's what I'm hoping for.
That's what I'm hoping for, too.
That's what I'm hoping for.
We do have our barn, but y'all know we have had an issue with mice and rats, and we are in the process of trying to get power. Some cat.
Well, yeah, hoping eventually when we get over there, we can put some Pink and Tucker. And
I thought you meant we were going to get some cats.
No,
I'm like, wait a minute. We don't need to be adding any animals that we don't have room for right now.
But that's our plan there.
That was funny. We're going to get some cats.
Marycarl will be happy.
Yes, she would.
Speaking of Marycarl and Piper moving and us moving, I didn't notice this until I read the questions.
What?
I bet there was 100 questions worried that Marycarl and Piper would no longer be, are they going to see each other? Are they going to be friends? How far apart are they going to be? Both about an hour apart.
Yeah.
And
because they're moving a little bit south.
Yeah.
A little bit south of where they are now. Not in big distance, but just south of where we currently are.
Right.
And then we're going north. So, probably an hour.
Probably an hour. And it's no big deal at all. But all of us homeschool.
It's not a big deal.
So, trust me, they'll be see each other, as they do now. I don't see any difference whatsoever.
They used to FaceTime every day.
Right.
I don't know if all kids do that or just my kid does that, but they want to see each other when they talk.
Right.
And I don't want to see anybody when I talk to them. Okay?
Yeah. That means you have to get all did up.
That's right. But every time they talk, they FaceTime. Hi. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Hi. And they're looking at each other. And ever since Piper has moved to they're currently living in her grandmother's house, which her grandmother has terrible internet.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to FaceTime each other.
So it's been rough.
And so when they do talk to each other, it's like this. And I'm usually in the car with them or in front of them. And I think that once they get the ability to start FaceTiming again, it's going to be like that party that never happened because they've had type back and forth.
Yeah.
And Marycarl didn't mind the typing, but they'd rather look at each other for whatever reason.
Right.
So we'll get them together just like we always have. They usually see each other about once a week. And I don't think that'll change.
I don't think that'll change at all. And we usually rotate. Piper comes to our house for
Yeah.
And then the next week, Marycarl goes to Piper's house.
Well,
So,
when
that's usually what it is.
when they do play, it usually starts about 10 o'clock in the morning, ends about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's hardcore.
It's a all day thing. So
We're not at the spending the night thing yet, but I'm sure
all Marycarl.
That's coming.
It's coming. Marycarl don't want to spend the night away from home. Piper has stayed with us once.
That's right.
But they're tired by that time.
Oh my, yeah. When they that one spend the night thing, it was their give.
Well,
out.
even when they part ways at 10 o'clock at night, the next day is like recovery.
Yeah.
It's like they've been on an all night, hiatus.
Yeah.
Trying to recover.
I always get tickled about, I don't know, late in the evenings, and Piper go, Miss Brooke, I'm tired.
I'm ready to go home.
I'm ready to go home.
and I know it's time right then.
It's
I better
time to
get
go.
Katie.
Yep.
And we've been meeting halfway.
Right.
Because they have moved, and they used to be right down the road from us. So we've been meeting halfway, and Piper usually got that lip poked out, and
She ready to go.
And Marycarl didn't wind down until after Piper's gone. She keeps going full force, but not Piper. She knows when it's time to call it quits.
Yeah, Marycarl doesn't. Yeah, Marycarl usually keeps going. She just falls out.
Yeah, but when she gets back home, she gets kind of, I'm ready to go to bed. I need to go to bed. Don't ask me to do that. I'll do it tomorrow.
Speaking of sleeping and going to bed, how does Nugget sleep? Does Nugget lay down? Where does he sleep? I don't know if you ever seen Nugget sit. Like he does in the swimming pool. He sits down. That's how he sleeps.
Yeah.
He sleeps just like that. His head don't go down. His head stays up. And I guess that's how they kind of bed down like that. And typically, Nugget sleeps kind of in the corner by the muscadine bush.
Yeah.
But if it's raining, he can get under the awning.
You wouldn't see him if you went down there unless you were looking for him.
Unless you're looking for him. And he once he goes to sleep now, he usually doesn't.
He don't move.
He doesn't move very much. I guess it's sort of like a chicken when a chicken goes to bed. They're knocked
I wonder if
out.
he slept in the coop and we cut the light on, if he would.
He does slowly, because we've been down there before.
Yeah, we've had to do things.
And he'll slowly look around at you. So, yeah, that's how Nugget sleeps.
Yep.
Jason, if you are feeling better, would you do a happy dance for us? That is coming. Matter of fact, there may be more than one dance coming. We have been challenged. Or I've been challenged.
I was fixing to say there is no we in this.
There's no we in this. I have been challenged by Mr. Lester over there at the I get that confused. I'm a farm, or it's a sanctuary.
Survivor sanctuary.
I'm a survivor, donkey sanctuary, I think. And most of y'all probably know who he is. They're a huge channel. But anyways, it looks like he has challenged me to a dance-off.
Does he know what he's getting himself into?
I don't know. I told him that it is on. I said, let me get, I'm almost 100%. Let me get there and we'll do this. And then he sent or commented back that what in the world had he got himself into.
I agree with you, Lester. You don't know what you're up against.
Maybe we ought to see him a video of the last time we had a dance-off.
Maybe so.
Yeah, maybe so. Somebody had challenged me to a dance-off.
It didn't go for the...
Yeah, it didn't go well for the other person.
It didn't.
Or the other people. It was more than one person. How many peacocks do we have? And also, what are their names? And, yeah. We have 4 peacocks right now.
We do.
We have Scott, who everybody knows Scott.
Yep.
If you don't know who, Scott is named after my buddy, one of my best friends, and that's Scott Peacock.
Scott Peacock. He's a chef. He's a well-known,
super famous
James Beard award-winning chef.
Yes, and that is who Scott is named after. As a matter of fact, the whole Peacock crew, besides Chris, is named or affiliated to Scott Peacock.
That's right. It was only appropriate to get Scott a wife, and after many years of Scott being alone,
yes,
we found a female, and it was up around Bessemer area of Alabama, a little bit north of us.
Mm-hmm.
And Marycarl and I drove over. I guess you were working during
yes.
that time, and got a female for Scott, who we named Ozella. And she has an affiliation with Scott, the chef. And so we named her Ozella.
Ozella.
And then, lo and behold, Scott and Ozella had a child.
Yes, had
one single peacock.
Right.
And we named her
Miss Lewis.
Little O is what we call her
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right.
But her proper name is Miss Lewis, and that's because that was Scott's
mentor and best friend, and that was Miss Edna Lewis, and who is probably one of the most influential Southern chefs that's ever lived, and super famous. And just if you never heard of Miss Edna Lewis, look it up. And she's got one of her cookbooks, not hers and Scott's, but the one before that, well, way before that. My mind's gone blank. Anyway, she's got her cookbooks, the ones that she did. They're more like novels. I mean, it's just, you can read it, and she's got these just elaborate stories, and it's beautiful. But yeah, Miss Edna Lewis, and that's who the other peacock is named after. And then we have Crystal.
And Crystal was hatched from an egg about a year ago.
About a year ago. Crystal's almost a year old, and we had a peacock expert because we thought we had, I can't remember, a black shoulder and an Indian or whatever.
Indian blue, and that they're supposed to be sex linked.
And when have the babies, white babies are females, and the other ones are males. So Crystal was white, so Crystal therefore was supposed to be a female. Come to find out, this person didn't have a black shoulder and Indian blue or whatever. They had two black shoulders, and that's totally different. It's totally opposite. If it's two black shoulders, a lot of times the females are white and the males are blue.
Yeah.
So Crystal eventually turned blue, and we switched his name from Crystal to Chris. And so we have 4 peacocks, and that's Chris. Now, Chris will probably be rehomed.
Yes.
At some point, because Chris is he's not even a year old yet, but at some point his hormones are going to kick in, and him and Scott are more likely will start fighting.
He tries to show out in front of Scott, and he tries to put his little wimpy tail up and do his shake, but Scott's not having too much of it. He just walks away from him and looks at him like,
right,
boy, just keep trying. That's kind of like how Jason's probably going to look at, no, I'm not going to say that. I was talking about the dance off.
Oh, that's funny. Let's see here.
Guineas. Will we be having guineas at our new property?
Probably 50-50 on this one. Now here, no, 0. We've tried guineas twice. It has not worked out at all for numerous reasons. But over there, we may give it another shot.
Well, I will say that I like guineas. However, they're not the sharpest tool in the shed.
No.
Our friends Julie and Dave, that actually all of our original peacocks came from, they had guinea fowl in the past, and they've all gotten out in the road and gotten ran over, or they have a train track that runs across the street from them. They've gotten hit by a train.
Well, she claims that they're attracted to it. She don't know if it's the noise or what, but they're attracted to going over there.
I just don't want to see anything that,
no,
any kind of horror story. So, 50-50, maybe.
50-50 on that. A lot of this came up too, so I know we got a lot of new fans because I've addressed this question a lot of times.
Yes.
And I don't mind answering it again. That is, why do I have the colorful flags around the garden? And the main reason that I got the flags is to ward off deer. We had a terrible drought one year, and for some reason, we've never had a deer issue, but that year, the deer got in my garden, and I think it was because there was less food for them to eat because of the drought, and they ate all my Seminole pumpkins that year. So I knew that I had to come up with something, and I don't know why the light bulb went off, but I put the flags around the garden to give the illusion that my fence is higher than what it is and the motion of the flag, and it totally worked. Now, it worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for everybody else, but it worked for me to keep the deer out of the garden. And then once I got the flagging up, I realized how super cool it looks and how cute it looks. And we always keep the flags up now.
That's right. I have a feeling they're going to travel right along with us over to the 40. Not those. We'll leave those up for the new owners. But I do see deer every day here.
Yeah.
Every day. There's not a day that goes by that you don't see a deer if you're looking.
Right.
They don't go in the garden.
They do not go in the garden.
They do not go in the garden. So
So-
I don't know if they just have plenty to eat or if they really look at that fence as being a 10-foot fence versus
Right.
a 4-foot fence.
And I got those from Amazon. If you look down below, you hit the show more button, look down below. I got a lot of our affiliate links there. There's the Amazon link there. If you go there, it takes you to our Amazon page, and almost anything that's on our farm, I try to put it in that page, and our flag should be there under gardening, and you can get the flags from there. And they're not expensive. And they usually last about at least a year.
Yeah,
Depending
unless you
on
have a big storm.
Yeah, they could, eventually just fade and
We
tear
have
up.
had to tie them back together
Yep.
from time to time, where the string may have dry rotted or whatever.
Right.
But we always kind of make it work.
Do you foresee any future where you guys may go where the opportunity that somebody can meet us? Yes. Now, we are supposed to be at the Homestead of America conference in early October, and then we're speaking at another homesteading conference in Pensacola, Florida at the end of October.
We know we'll be at the one in Pensacola.
Because we're going to be a speaker there. Unless there's another shutdown and things get crazy again, we're supposed to be there, and we will speak at that one. The other one, we are more than likely going to have to cancel that trip, and for the reason of that us moving is that moved along a lot faster than what we initially thought when we set all that up. We thought we were going to be in November, possibly December, or maybe even next year before we had to move. And now that process is sped up times 2. So we think if we were to it would just be too much stress for us
Well, not
to
necessarily
pack
that.
up and drive to Virginia, and then all the stuff going on. We got to build shelters for the animals. We got to get fencing up for the animals. We got all the builders coming. The site work guys got the okay. We got to get power poles moved. I mean, there's a lot going on.
We're
and
looking
it's-
at about October 15th to close on our house. And if we close on our house October 15th, that would give us 1 week to
Yeah.
get everything finalized and moved. And I just don't see it happening. However, we're not completely calling it off yet. We
No.
have reservations. We have
yes.
tickets. So, just depending on how things roll, and we're not going to cancel it yet. We're
And-
going to wait until we see what happens.
We're going to wait just because we know there's so many people there that are going, or fans that are going to that conference that are looking forward to meeting us, and we do not want to disappoint anybody and let anybody down. So we're going to try our best to make that trip.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll update as time goes on, and it all depends on how much this guy can get done.
Yes. That's right. And plus, too, we have to, we forget about this a lot. We really do.
Right.
And, we're worried about building, worried about getting these shelters done. We're worried about, packing. There's so much stuff going on, and we still have a business.
Yeah.
We still have to record podcasts. We still have to make videos.
Yeah.
And that takes time. You're
It does.
talking on average, I can't even put it in.
Oh,
I
don't
gotta
even
think
get-
about it. But
don't
it,
even
it
go there.
takes, it's like having a job, and
Well, it
so
is a
we
job.
we still have to do those things too.
You're just
And
down to 1 job versus 2 jobs.
That's true.
Do we have a fire department close to us where our new place is going to be, or is it volunteer? It is volunteer.
It is a volunteer fire department because it is pretty rural. This place is where we're at now is a volunteer fire department.
It
and
is.
It is close, and this one is really close too. We've seen it. We
Yeah,
passed
it's
by.
probably about the same distance
Yeah,
as
it
it
probably
is
is.
here.
It's really, really close by.
So same situation there. Have we ever thought about doing a children's book?
Yes, we have thought about doing this, and this is something that eventually that I'm going to figure out and try to do. I'll probably have to get with Scott on this one, who has done books before, and see what steps I need to take. And I know you got to get a publisher
It's
and
on
all
down
that,
the road.
but
I can
that would
tell
be
you
down
that.
the road for sure.
Did we plan on getting more emus?
Right now, no, we do not. We get this asked a lot for Nugget. Nugget, why don't you get Nugget a buddy? What? Nugget is perfectly. He's got. Y'all can tell Nugget's happy. Nuggets, there's no moping. There's no nothing. Nugget
Has never seen another emu.
He has never seen another emu. He was raised by humans before we got him. The issue with us getting another emu, a female, is that more than likely it would cause Nugget's hormones to kick in, and he could become aggressive. She could become aggressive. He could become more standoffish. He could care less about everything else, and it could just totally change his whole attitude and his personality and all that. And we really don't want that. We want Nugget to be, friendly and friendly towards other animals.
And we don't mean that in a selfish way either. We don't mean that in a selfish way. No, we mean it
for his sake.
Yes, for his sake, not for our sake.
So that's the reason why, it's like owning a dog. Just because you have a male dog doesn't mean you have to get a female dog. They're not herding animals like a goat or a cattle or something that is a herding animal. But Nugget has his own herd. He's got ducks, chickens, peacocks, geese that he all lives with, and they all get along, and we don't want to mess that.
Well, I think about Kathy and Stan's over at JK Farm, which are Nugget siblings.
Yes.
And they have been together all of their life. And, of course, they're bonded. It's a male and a female. But they don't necessarily want the attention from their owners that Nugget wants from us.
They don't follow them, Nugget is around us.
They said you can't pet on theirs, and they can't, show him affection like Nugget shows us. And not on a selfish way do I mean this, but we don't want to take that away.
Yeah.
We don't want to put him in a position where he's like, oh, this is new. My new life starts today. I just don't.
And plus, too, I'm afraid if we were to do that, we'd have to separate them from everybody else.
Yeah, right.
We'd have to separate from the ducks and geese.
So maybe in the future, but that's a question that really, we can't answer for sure.
Right.
No plans of adding another one. But who knows if Kathy and Stan's had babies one day, which they're approaching maturity.
Yeah.
And they
maybe,
but I'm not going to say yes because we don't know.
Do we ever have issues with rats in our coop? No, we don't have any issues here with rats. We had an issue one time with rats in our barn, which has a brooder in it. We got some cats, some kittens, and they absolutely took care of the rat issue we had. We've never had issues with rats getting our feed or mice getting our feed. We had those feed barrels.
Everything stays closed up. And I think if you leave feed just sitting wide open in your barn without it being in another form of a container, I think you may have an issue. But even garbage cans. Well, before we got these feed barrels, we would have garbage cans with lids on them. And we would put our feed bags down in the garbage can. So that way it wasn't exposed to any kind of potential, I don't know if you call it a predator or what you call it, rodent, to get in that feed and feel like he lived there and that was his food. We kept all that under tight containment, and therefore we've never had a issue with them being in the coop or anything.
No, we've just no issues though, and everything's we pretty much we're pretty tidy here. We try to keep everything nice and neat and clean, and that also can attract mice and rats too.
And overgrowth, of course.
Overgrowth, yeah.
If you keep your grass cut around and don't provide housing.
Yeah.
Is another thing is, the more unused space you have, of course, the more opportunity you have for them to nest and feel like that's their home.
But I would say the main thing is the cats.
The cats and keeping your feed enclosed.
Yeah, I agree.
Rather than keeping your feed open to.
I agree. Now, I do want to say this. This podcast is recorded a day before Fred gets here. Tropical Storm Fred. So this is probably going to be published after Fred's gone. We don't foresee any type of this. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything bad.
No, but we know that can change too.
Yeah, it can change. Some wind, some heavy rain, but doesn't look like nothing major. They don't seem too worried about it. The meteorologists around here, they don't seem too worried about it. So I do want to say that because this may come out after Fred and y'all may say, well, what happened? But y'all may be asking about, are y'all okay? Anything? We don't know yet. It's because we're recording this pre-Fred.
Pre-Fred. All right.
But I hope you enjoyed it.
concludes-
That does conclude. You got
You
something?
know what? I saw somebody ask about
Did I miss
the
something?
man's name that introduces. Maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe you're crazy. I do want to say the hats are live on the website. We got this in right here. This is the new royal blue hat. This is not a Richardson hat. It's a different name brand.
I think it's pretty cool.
I like it. Looks pretty good. Hats are hard to get right now, so be patient with us on hats. But this is a new one. I got this one. We got several of these in, and we do have the purple ponytail hats in, but they go fast. So if you're interested in hats, go check out the website. And it's a thing that says hats. It's not on the one where you get the shirts. There are hats there too, but they're not these logo hats. So it gets confusing. I know it does, but it's the only way I can do it. Right?
Right.
We'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good. Hey guys, thanks for watching the podcast. If you haven't seen our main channel, our vlogging channel, where we do chores and just our day-to-day life here on the farm, be sure to check it out. I will put a link to it right over here, and I'll put a couple of videos over here that I think you may like. Y'all be good.